I like to use the TRX for your pec flies for two main reasons. One, because, well, you can load and unload the weight in the middle of your rep. If you're feeling like you're struggling on your last rep, you can just step forward and it lightens the load. And if you want to get a little beastly, if you want to get a little pump in the middle of your workout, you step back a little bit more and that increases the load. How do you work your pecs without a Pec Fly machine? That's a great question that we're going to answer in today's episode of TRX Translations. Now, we all know that you can execute a push-up just about anywhere and pretty much in any position. You can do an incline push-up, a decline push-up, a one-handed push-up, any kind of push-up you like. All those exercises are great for your pecs and your triceps. However, if you want to focus solely on your pecs, I'm going to show you an exercise that you can execute with the TRX. It's called a Pec Fly. All right, so as we know, TRX is pretty much versatile. You can do anything you want. I like to use the TRX for your pec flies for two main reasons. One, because, well, you can load and unload the weight in the middle of your rep. If you're feeling like you're struggling on your last rep, you can just step forward and it lightens the load. And if you want to get a little beastly, if you want to get a little pump in the middle of your workout, you step back a little bit more and that increases the load. Both those are great ways to help you get through your workout, whether you need a little bit of break or you want a little bit more of a pump. Another great reason why you want to use a TRX over a Pec Fly machine is very important. A lot of people, when they execute a Pec Fly, they rotate their shoulders forward and they bring their hands together. Unfortunately, that is terrible for your shoulders. Your shoulders do not like that. I actually cue my clients when we're doing a Pec Fly on the machines to keep their shoulders drawn back and keep their shoulder blades as close as they can to their spine as they bring their hands out and in. But one myth that a lot of people adhere to is that when you bring your arms out wider, you actually work your pecs more. Now, the thing is that a Pec Fly, most exercises on a machine aren't going to use just one muscle group. Actually, the same thing for the Pec Fly on the TRX. You're going to be using your biceps as well as your pecs. And in fact, the longer you make your arms, the more your biceps come into play. So it's great for your pecs and your biceps when you're using a Pec Fly machine. However, as I said, it's better to use a TRX because you can unload and load the weight and you don't put as much weight on your shoulders when you're trying to execute that movement. It doesn't matter how far you bring your arms out, you're not going to load up your shoulders the same way if you're going to be a little bit further away from the anchor point and having less of a load. So I'm going to show you how you can execute this TRX Pec Fly right now. Now, I like to actually put my TRX at halfway point. Now, the reason for that being when I'm executing a TRX Pec Fly is because when you have a smaller muscle group, you actually need less of a range of motion. So when you have the straps longer, you can kind of step out a lot further and step forward a lot more. You have more variation in your range of motion. You don't really need that much, and you get a little more control when the straps are shorter. So I like to have my straps at the halfway point. So you're going to have your hands facing each other, and you're going to bring your arms out wide as your hands come apart. Or excuse me, you're going to bring your arms out wide as your body comes forward. Now, remember I said earlier on, the issue with your shoulders is that you put a lot of stress on your shoulders when you bring your arms out wide. Now, of course, if I'm back here, that's going to be a lot of stress on my shoulders. Now, when I'm up here, less stress on the shoulders, and I can still get a good stretch. So to work the pecs, you're going to find your range of motion, find what works for you, whether it's out here, all right? You actually probably don't get much here, but whether it may be closer to here, body coming forward, or further back towards the anchor point. All great ways to work the pecs. Now, you want to make sure that when you're executing that motion, you have a slight bend in the elbows because you still, even though it is a TRX, want to protect your joints. Now, one other exercise that you can execute that would help you with your pecs as well as your triceps is an exercise that we've seen earlier on. That's called a TRX press. Now, if you want to check that out, we have a whole video on the TRX press. It's a great movement to help you strengthen your pecs as well as your triceps. All right, so if you have any questions about this video or any of our previous videos in TRX Translations series, I would love to hear your feedback. You can put it down below in the comment section. And I'd love for you to subscribe because when you subscribe, you get notified when we release our next video. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep good company.
That's awesome!